All right, good morning and welcome to Running from 40. It's mid-morning right now and I'm out for my morning run. Got out a little bit late this morning, but I like to do it first thing or close to first thing, but it doesn't always work out that way. So anyway, did my last video while running and I thought, why not do another one? And today I'm going to introduce a bit of a series. No, I'm actually not done with the getting started series. I still have one on running gear. Although we did running shoes, I'd like to do running gear. And then kind of consider that series done. But right now, I'd like to launch another series. This one will be a little more spaced out, probably and less frequent, but anyway, this series is going to be on running goals and check-ins. So what I mean by that is I have set some running goals and I'm going to share what those are, and then I'll be checking in from time to time to let y'all know what my progress looks like. So first off, I'll have to share my goals and to explain why I'm doing this. Again, I've expressed before, this isn't an all about me channel, but it is certainly, in one aspect, it's me chronicling my running journey, both for myself and for the benefit of others. So anyhow, that's the impetus behind that. So I think to get started, I'm actually going to share a recent 5K effort and explain that a bit, give some background on it, explain why I was really happy with my 5K effort, and then get into some of my other goals associated with running. So anyway, 13 years ago, so 2010, in Bozeman, Montana, I ran a 5K, sort of a fun race on Thanksgiving called Huffing for Stuffing. So you'll be able to look at my time if you Google my last name and Huffing for Stuffing, and you look at the 2010 results. It was a cold morning, single digits. Couldn't feel my feet, but I was 28 years old and in decent shape. I hiked a lot, I was active, I ate well, and I did do a little bit of training beforehand, although no sense at all of what training should look like. So I just went out. My school had an indoor track. I would just lace up my running shoes and just run around that track at a pace that felt about as fast as I could go without having to just drop down right then and there. So anyway, I went into this race, I ran it, I felt like I was gonna die. I don't think I threw up, but I wanted to. My legs felt like they were filled with concrete, and I crossed the finish line at a high 22. I think it was 22:52, something in there. I think I got 22nd place maybe, and there were like, I don't know, 500 runners. So I felt pretty good about that. You know, some of the guys getting first through fifth place were Montana State track athletes, so it was certainly nothing to hang my head about. And I'm like, that's not a bad 5K. So anyway, fast forward to 2023, where we're at now. A few weeks back, was running and decided, I'm gonna push myself a little bit in the 5K. To that date, I've never run faster than my high 22. So I went out and did it. I did not feel terrible afterwards. I felt like I definitely had more in the tank. And I ran about 30 seconds faster overall, so mid 22s, and was very happy about that, of course. Texted people, hey, I just ran a time that was faster than I ran 13 years ago, and I feel good afterwards. So training must be working, right? Well, anyway, fast forward to this past week, and I was going out for my morning run on Saturday, and I actually just, my wife needed our car. Our other vehicle was in the shop, and so I was gonna have to economize a bit. I was set up to run, had my cushy long run shoes on, at least cushy for me, my Ultra Touring 6s, and I set out. I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't drive too far away so I can make the most of my time. So I went to the high school track and started to warm up. I felt heavy. I was tired. I didn't sleep well the night before. But I thought, hey, you know what? I should up the intensity a bit during this run. If I'm not going to run a lot of miles, at least I can run a little harder. I'm at a point in my training where I can do that. I can put in some higher intensity from time to time and be no worse for the wear. So anyway, getting through the first mile warm up, I had this crazy idea like, hey, let's see how fast you can run a 5K. And so I did it. And I ran hard. I felt like I was pacing pretty well. I probably could have went a little faster at the beginning, but I didn't want to burn out. So it was a conservative effort, but it was meant to be fast as well. So anyway, when it's all said and done, I sprinted to the finish. Felt very fatigued, of course. I was huffing and puffing big time at the end. Felt a great runner's high afterwards. And I ran this 5K 13 years after a high 22. I ran a 20-minute and 27-second 5K. Whoa. And I'm not trying to brag or humble brag. What I am trying to do is communicate the benefits of training smartly. I'm trying to communicate that if you want to get faster, you got to run slow to get faster. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, you wouldn't have heard me talk about this, but you know, I started out running at 40 years old, and you know what? I heard from some smart people and decided to follow their advice, learn from their mistakes. And so last summer 2022, I got out and I tried to do this. It was called the Maffetone method. Run at a low heart rate all year running. So I had a heart rate monitor, my Coros watch, which says I'm going a little faster than I should right now. Anyway, I was out there. I set it at this low heart rate, and off I went. I couldn't even run at this heart rate. I had to run and then walk, run and then walk. I would just start to run a little bit. This is all flat. And my heart rate monitor was constantly chirping at me. And so this would be embarrassing if I wasn't where I was today. It certainly felt embarrassing at the time. I was running about a 14-minute mile, hobbling, shuffling, whatever you want to call it, whatever I was doing, 14-minute mile. So how did I get from there to where I could run 2.5 minutes faster 13 years later? I mean, let that sink in. That's crazy. You might hear the train in the background. We'll see. Anyway, 2.5 minutes faster on a 5K. That's like, I don't even know how to properly frame that level of improvement. As I'm getting older, 28, I was in some of the best shape of my life, you would think, at least naturally. And here I'm at 41. Still didn't feel like I wanted to die. I think if I was running with some of my racing shoes, and if I had tapered a bit, had some rest, and had some competition, to push myself, I would have been a sub 20. No problem. Not no problem. It would have been a push, but I could do sub 20 and maybe even close to 19 and a half. Anyway, fast forward a year from that 14-minute mile at my easy heart rate, and how much faster do you think my pace is? Do you think I went from a 14 to a 10? My easy mile pace right now, or my easy pace at my easy heart rate, is somewhere between 8 and an 8.5 minute mile. And how'd I get there? By running slow at that heart rate for a year plus. Patience, consistency. If I wasn't sick, or if it wasn't my Sunday rest day, I was out running. Sometimes good runs, sometimes not so good, but they build on each other. And man, the proof's in the pudding. Here I am today, somebody who's seeing massive improvement, and I'm just at the beginning. Like a year of concentrated distance running is just that first little bit of progress. I know there's so much more for me to extract in my aerobic capacity, in my strength, in my running economy. So anyway, that set me to thinking about what my goals should be. And so I'm going to share those now. I've been going for about 12 minutes. I don't want to bore you too much more, but maybe some of y'all like watching a guy, running an 8.5 minute mile and talking to you. I don't know what y'all like. Hopefully you're out running and not watching me, but I know my wife watches me while she runs. So anyway. So I have goals all the way from the 400 meter up to the marathon. These are not set in stone. Some of them are more audacious than others. Like I said, there's some vulnerability in me sharing this because it'd be really easy to criticize these goals as not being based in reality, at being premature maybe. But anyway, here they are. So in high school, I could run a 58-second 400. That was with no idea how to run, no training. We had just a very rural track program. I had a great coach who I really liked, but we were just not being trained to know how to run 400. I liked to do sprints. I was a football player, basketball player, so I ran the 100, the 200, but I wasn't the fastest. I was like second or third on our team, so we needed some 400 guys. Like, hey, go run the 400. I'm like, yeah, how hard could that be? The answer is very, very hard. All right, 8 minutes, 39 second mile. Nice and easy. Anyway, ran a 57-second 400, 58-second 400 in high school. So my goal now, what is it? 57. That might be the craziest out of all my goals, because as you get older, while you get smarter, wiser, you build up your endurance. Speed is the first thing to go. You see that with with boxers, they start doing some zigging when they should have been zagging. Just don't have the same timing, don't have the same speed. All right, we do have a train coming, so I'm just gonna pause it for a second. At least he's not blowing his horn. All right, maybe you can hear me. We'll try it. Anyway, 57-second 400. Why do I think I can do it? All right, well, hear me out. If I had the running economy right now of an Eliud Kipchoge or a Kenenisa Bekele, all else equal, none of their abilities otherwise, but I had their running economy, I think I would be running a 57-second 400 right now. So I think my main limitation is my efficiency, is my running form. And my self-assessment says that I have a lot more toothpaste in the tube to squeeze out. So I don't know, 57 seconds. Oh man, I want some WD-40 spraying those tracks. I don't think that would do anything, but except for alleviate my frustration. But that's it, 57-second 400. We'll see if I can do it. Right now I'm at probably, if I went all out on a good day, maybe 65 to 67. So I need to shave probably 10 seconds of my 400 time. But every day I'm working on hip mobility, running efficiency. I'm just gonna let old Norfolk Southern get that out of his system first. So watch me run and try to not throw my phone in the river. That's where I'm at. Some days this train literally stops right on the crossing and just sits there for like an hour. So anyway, we have history. Sad to say we got beef. And, well, there's not much I can do about that. So I think I have plans in place to run a faster 400. That's kind of where I'm starting. I want to be, I shouldn't say I'm starting at that. I'm not doing 400 specific training. But a lot of my training is going to be geared at that running efficiency, opening up my hips, some more sprints, and then hopefully that carries over to a 57-second 400. Next up after that, equally audacious, maybe more so, actually, I don't know, would be a sub 5 minute mile. Why do I want to run so the 400 is based on what I could do in high school. So there is historical precedent, even though I'm old now, but I have showed that at an older age I can be faster than my younger self. Why a 5 minute mile, a sub 5 minute mile? Just because it sounds fast. I think I could probably right now run sub 6 something. I've not tested my mile max, so I really don't know. I know I can run a sub 6, but how much below that, I'm not sure. But anyway, it sounds fast to me, so it seems like a notable achievement. It's pretty shallow, somewhat arbitrary, but there it is. Okay, so that's the 400 and the mile. Now we have the distance races of 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon. And now everything is more based upon my marathon goal. For the most part, although I've kind of worked my way inwards from the marathon goal and down, starting out at my 400 meter, my mile aspirations. So I've used a little math. I have. But anyway, the way you can typically look at it is your pace for a well-conditioned athlete, your pace from a 5K to a 10K to a half marathon to a marathon should increase by about 16 seconds, minutes per mile pace. So, and sometimes, 15 to 17 maybe. There's been some research out there that has shown this. So you have some people, like me, my 5K, my 10K, I can do that. But I don't have what it takes to match that at a half marathon and marathon. So I'll start off now with marathon. Ultimately, my goal is to run a 2:45 marathon. So I want to run a Boston qualifier. That's a 3:10 for my age. I want to run a sub 3. Again, it's a little arbitrary, but it's certainly an achievement, and it's something a lot of people aim for. And then I feel like 2:45 is a very, very ambitious goal, but it is achievable. I've known other people pull it off who I think are at least in the same universe as me when it comes to talent and age and ability. So I like to run a 2:45 marathon. And if you do that math and drop that down, going 15 to 16 seconds of pace reduction from marathon to 5K, I think that makes me like a 5:47 pace at the 5K. So 45 seconds faster pace than I'm doing now. And that'd be about a 17-minute and 11-second 5K. So, and then going up from there. So, if I want to do a Boston qualifier, that's a 7:15-minute mile. But I'm trying to do even better. And so we're looking closer to something in the 6:30 range for the marathon. Long term. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm not saying I'll run a 2:45 marathon the first time out. It might be more like a Boston qualifier, then a sub 3, then a 2:45, or some kind of improvement on my way to 2:45. But anyway, I will be checking in as I try to pull off these achievements. Some of them might be achievable at the same time, but they're pretty optimized, so I think it will take different efforts. I don't know how I'm going to tackle it. I suspect I'll run a 5K, then a 10K, then a half, then a full, but not necessarily. I might start by just hunkering down for some good half marathon training, and then come back and get the 5 and the 10. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So, the best laid plans of mice and men. So, anyway, those are my goals. That's my check-in on where I'm at with the 5K. Hopefully some encouragement for y'all that no matter where you're at, you can get out there. You can achieve great things. I am very average, and this does not take great talent. It does not take self-destructive, high-intensity training. It just takes discipline, consistency, little elbow grease, and some goals. Goals are good to have. So, anyway, thanks y'all for watching. Sorry for the train. Sorry for my irritated attitude toward the train. And I hope y'all have a great day. And until we see each other again, take care, y'all.